What is happening, guys? You're welcome to this tutorial on SmartExaminer Designer. Well, this tutorial talks about building fractions and multiple mathematical equations and the likes. So one thing we're gonna do is to just create a paper and a simple question which we would use to demonstrate this. And I'm just going to be using the question here. Now, one thing I'm thinking about doing is to build something like this fraction over here, okay, this logarithm here, and we'll just see how we can do that. Now, one tip I'm going to give you whenever there is a fraction involved and you want to build it yourself, it's always a good idea to use our sample expression templates. In fact, immediately there is a fraction involved, you just have to find a way to demonstrate that. Now, one thing I'm going to do is to let's look at the question again. As you can see, they say apply the laws of logarithm to log this. So I am going to use something that says sample expression equals to sample expression, because I want them to be on the same line. Now this sample expression, these templates have been optimized to make your work look better and also look synchronized. As you can see, this text appears somewhat in the middle of this fraction. It's about the middle. I don't know if you understand me, and you would see what I'm trying to talk about. So I would be using that. So if I use this, I can just change this part of the question that says apply the laws of logarithm to the equation. Is that what I saw? Okay, without the equation. Okay, apply the laws of logarithm to this. Now we're having something here. Now you notice that we're having a fraction here. Okay, now one thing we can do is to use our expression templates, the fraction which we have here. Okay, I'm just going to click on that and say insert. Now what we have is abc squared over d cubed, and what I'm just going to do is to change this. Okay, I'm going to delete this abc squared. I'm just going to put 2 there for the meantime. Then d cube, I'm just going to put 3. Now if I highlight the 3, I can click on this button here that makes it a superscript. I can also do the same thing for this one, makes it a superscript. Okay, now we're having log there, so I can just remove this equal to and put my log there. And if we preview this question, we have something a little bit similar to what we have. Okay, and this has some italics, so we can also apply that based on what we have here. I can just click and select this. Now click on the italics, click and select this, and click on italics, or you can use your Control I, and we have something similar to what we have, as you can see. Now as you would notice, this is also in the middle. That is because of the way we built the template. It forces the text to always be at the middle. That's why it's a good idea to always use our sample expression templates. Okay, now you may want to build let's say something that looks like this. Okay, it's not really difficult, but we'll just go about doing that. So what I would do is to come down here and do the same thing using our expression templates. Well, I could also copy the contents which we have here by exporting and importing. So what I'll do, I'll export raw content now to my documents, and yeah, I'm just gonna export it and import it because I really do not want to just bear with me. Okay, I'm just gonna say sample raw. Okay, now I've exported it. I can just simply import it here, and yeah, it takes the form. So what I can do is to replace the contents which I have here with exactly what I need it to be. Now we have x root y all over z raised to power 5, something like that. Now I could take these off, and also take these off as well. Oh, sorry, we're doing that for the wrong one. Yeah, could take these off, also take these off as well. So we're having x root y all over z raised to power 5. You know how this works. I'm just going to make this a superscript, and then I could either come to use our mathematical roots here, which if I click on it, it's going to take effect, as you can see, or I could use the sample expression templates which I have. Now we have something that talks about roots of something. Okay, we have something that talks about root of something, but I'm going to make use of this because we have an x before it. So we could also use this and just put the x before it, and let me show you what I'm trying to talk about. We could put that, and then okay, we've modified the width for this, but that's still gonna work fine. So if I delete all we have here, I could put my y inside there and place my x somewhere there, and then we have something that looks probably like what you may have here. All right, and that's one way to go about it. Now there are times whereby your equations can be very complex and it can be very daunting to build it. Now SmartExaminer allows you to use images the way you want. Okay, so you could build your equation with something like Word, for instance, using Word equations, and something, let me just use something as simple as this. And when you're done with your building of the equation, okay, Word has several templates, so you can actually yeah, just play around with it. When you're done with your equation, then what you can do is to just screenshot, which I'll be using the snapping tool, okay, from my Windows 7 system. It's quite easy to do. I could just screenshot this and save it to my system. Okay, and if I save it to my system, I could simply import it here. Now one thing I could do is to just import it. I could just import it directly here, and we can see the equation. But if you're having a question before it, for instance, let us say from the equation, you'll notice that it is not in the middle. Okay, there are two ways you can go about it. You could either modify the image and change the alignment to middle. Okay, if you change the alignment to middle, it's going to be somewhat in the middle, not exactly in the middle. As you can see, it's not perfectly in the middle. Another way you could go about this is, let me just use another example, is to use our expression templates, which we've talked about. We using this equal to this. Like I told you, the expression template is optimized to make something perfectly in the middle if that's exactly what you want. So I could do something like, from the equation blah blah blah, you can delete this equal to, and then in here you just insert your image which you want. Okay, and if you look at this, you can see that this attempts to be more in the middle based on how the image is. Okay, and it depends on how you want it really. And so that's how you can actually build fractions using SmartExaminer. But the idea is whenever there's a fraction involved, it's a good idea to make use of expression templates. And you may always want to start with using, depending on the length of the expression, you could use this or this. Now the good thing about the expression templates is that you can actually add expression templates in expression templates. So for instance, if I have more than what we have here, I can insert another expression template inside there to make it a very long chain. Okay, so this is not exactly what you want to see because I compressed the application width to fit into this video, but you can see the idea. Okay, it's optimized to take a lot of elements. You can actually concatenate elements up until you get what you want, and then you can make changes to each of them and put the contents which you need to put. So that's how you can go about building complex equations. Okay, you make use of images if you think that building this is quite hectic. Okay, well, we've got lots of mathematical symbols to play around with. You just need to make use of a couple. When you make use of them, you can always see them here, the latest recent symbols. Okay, you can always see them there, and so that's the idea. For instance, we have the summation here. Let me just do this. Sorry. We have the summation symbol here. You can always enlarge this by using the fonts, enlarge it and making what you want, basically. Yeah, just making what you want. So another thing you can do is to somewhat hack our templates, because our templates basically has been built with tables. Okay, it's basically was built with these tables, so you can mostly hack it depending on how you want. If the content is really not showing exactly the way you want, for instance, I can right click on this, come to table properties, I can reduce the padding, see how it works, increase the padding depending on what I want, and make some changes to it. So these are custom built templates which we've built with tables. So it's, if you think you can try yourself out, you can make your own templates with tables and then probably save them the way we saved, more like exporting the raw content, saving it for later use, which you can always import, okay, to make use of and make changes. That's another way you can go about doing it. That's more like hacking what we have built. And yeah, another thing you can do if you want to build something that looks a little bit like this, you could do a little bit of hack by using something like this, for instance. Okay, and as you can see, this is purely a table. This is just an image which we added here, okay, which you can remove and insert this symbol here. And if you increase this font size, you could do some matching that looks a little bit more like what you may want to do. Are you getting me? And then you can always change this font size as well to do what you want. So I can say something like k equals to 0. I'm trying to simulate what they have here for the one we built from Microsoft Word. I'm trying to simulate it a little bit, and so we're having something like this. And you could always reduce this font size to say something like small, and then reduce this font size to say something like small. So let's see how that goes, and you can always reduce it further, okay, to fit exactly what you want. And maybe we could hack this a little bit, because as you can notice, the N is shooting up. Okay, it's really shooting up, it's not touching it. That's due to the padding which has been created. So I can reduce this padding a little bit, and let's see if that made any change. Well, not exactly the best, but yeah, it did something. So we could also increase this font a little bit more and see if it will make any good impact. Well, it's trying, and yeah, that's the way you can go about modifying what we have to fit exactly what you want. So it's just about understanding the content, making changes to it, and building your equations exactly the way you want it. And yeah, thank you very much for watching this tutorial. If you have any more questions, just let us know. And yeah, have a nice day.